Good morning, it's me again. For the last few months, I've been doing little videos on different subjects, and I'm going to start a new subject area. Now, if you do a search on YouTube or even the internet, and you try to find hair removal fraud or scam, you really won't find too much. But hair removal is an amazing field full of fraud and scam, and you're the target. That's what we're going to be dealing with in this next series of videos. You know, it used to be in the early part of the 20th century, they called that the golden age of fraud, and nowadays I would call it the diamond age. With the internet, everything is out there, and lots of it is simply fraudulent. If you want to really make money quickly, there are two good ways to do it. One is medical fraud, and the other is selling drugs or alcohol. It's based on desperation. Historically, famous families have been involved in medical fraud and drugs and all kinds of things. The famous Wilshire Boulevard, well, Mr. Wilshire, as Mr. Hinkle called him, Old Man Wilshire, had a couple of medical fraud devices, and he made quite a bit of money on it. John Jacobs Astor, the family made money in the opium trade with China. Even Warren Delano, who was the grandfather of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, was involved in the drug trade to China, not to mention Joe Kennedy, and the names go on and on. So medical fraud is something that's part of American history. The problem is that when it comes to hair removal, you're the target. And one of the reasons that you're the target is actually because of you yourself. You're part of the problem. The first problem is that when you initially see your hair problem, you'll think, oh, this is really going to be easy. Hair, it's really nothing. That's going to be so simple to take care of. That's your first mistake. The next mistake is that you want it over really quickly. This is the mistake that most men make. They want to go for it. They want to spend a lot of money. They don't care what it costs. They get in there and they end up spending too much money and getting nothing. The next problem is you don't do enough research on the subject. You simply hear a few things and you go for it. And then the worst of all is that you become desperate. When you're desperate, you feel like your whole life is ruined. Trust me, there will be someone there to take your money and tell you that they'll be able to cure all your problems as well as take your money. In the last 30 or 40 years since I've been working, it's actually gotten worse. My average client, if they have a lot of hair, has spent between $2,000 and $4,000 on failed treatments before they found the appropriate treatment that helped them. So what I want to caution you is to be extremely careful. We're going to be talking about all the different categories of fraud. And by the way, this thing right here, oops, wrong finger, is the grandfather of all frauds. I have a lot to say about this little beauty. But the frauds break themselves down. They break down into several categories. The first one is the creams and the home remedies that you rub on your skin. And there's always coffee grounds and turmeric involved, and some little lady mixing up her stuff and putting all this stuff on her face, and that's supposed to remove your hair permanently. It doesn't do anything. It can't. And the reason is you can't rub anything down into the follicle. So we're going to talk about those home remedies and creams that don't work. The next big category are the little home units. These are really cleverly designed to take your money. And there's been many of them over the years, and they're designed to be within the range of, well, when it finally doesn't work, is it really worth it to bother sending it back? And usually it isn't. They can be around $100, and they always give you a money-back guarantee. So what they're counting on is that, you'll be using it for 6 months, maybe 8, 9, 10 months, and by then you find out it doesn't work, and you've lost your receipt, and you can't find the box to send it back in, and you just give it up. Well, if you take those little devices that are being sold for $100 or so and add millions of sales, there's a tremendous amount of money to be made in these things, and they certainly are making a lot of money. The next big area of fraud are the industrial ripoffs, and that's where this kind of machine comes in. This was an amazing story that I will get to, but it's called the electronic tweezer. This thing was supposed to grab your hair and send a current down the hair, and then you just pulled it out, and that was supposed to work. Didn't work. But millions and millions of people got ripped off of untold amounts of money. And then the last category are the legitimate treatments, but they're substandard. I mean, there may be lasers or electrologists that you go to. Both treatments are legitimate, but maybe the practitioner doesn't know what they're doing, and so you waste a ton of money on that as well. The bottom line is, and the people that are doing the frauds know that you're embarrassed about your hair. You don't want to go to the judge and say, Judge, this guy, sold me these products, and I used the hair on my mustache or on my bikini, or I did my whatever. You aren't going to go to court, and people don't. It's nearly impossible to get them to sue. But we're going to start giving you the tools. I'm going to go through slowly and give you all the evidence on all the many, many frauds that are out there. And when we're done with this, I will have documents for you that will be drawn up by an attorney that'll be on a website where you can go after these people to get your money back. And if they've injured you, to get compensation. So stay tuned. We're getting started. Look out. Here I come. See you later.